aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
It's been barely 6 days since Yella Beezy got checked into Dallas County Jail for allegedly ordering the hit on Mo 3, and word on the street is he ain't built for this life. Sources say Beezy's been struggling behind bars, already pushing hard for bail like his life depends on it. And honestly, if you know anything about Dallas County Jail's reputation, you'd understand why.
I mean, this is the last stop of the jail for all the worst of the worst.
They didn't earn the title of worst jail in Texas just for fun. Yella Beezy's arrest on capital murder charges has rocked the rap world, leaving fans in the industry in shock. Beezy has been checked into the Dallas County Jail, and word on the street is that he's having a hard time in jail. Life inside Dallas County Jail is rough, plain, and overwhelming. And for Beezy, who is now used to the glitz and glam of the rap world, he would surely have a hard time. Overcrowding is out of control, with cells built for 8 now packing in up to 40 inmates. It's not just uncomfortable, it's a crisis that officials are scrambling to fix. Security always comes first, comfort comes last. The air inside is ice cold, like someone cranked the AC just to see who could survive. The constant noise bounces off the walls, so loud that inmates stuff toilet paper in their ears just to get some peace. Privacy, that's a joke. The Special Response Teams, SRTs, run the place like a military camp. Their inspections are straight up humiliating. Prisoners kneel in their underwear while their belongings get torn through. The goal is control, and dignity doesn't seem to be part of the plan. For the past 5 years, Dallas County Jail has been under fire for repeatedly failing state inspections. The Texas Commission on Jail Standards, which makes sure county jails meet basic requirements, keeps flagging major issues. But despite all the warnings, the problems just won't go away. Take February 2022, for example. Inspectors spent 4 days inside the jail, and what they found was disturbing. One of the biggest red flags, the way jail staff handled suicidal inmates. On paper, it looked like officers were keeping a close watch, but when inspectors checked the surveillance footage, it told a different story. Logs weren't matching up with reality, raising serious concerns about inmate safety. And that's just the start. About 40 housing unit doors were completely busted, and some had been that way for a while. Inspectors even saw inmates using contraband to jam doors, making them useless. That's an alarming security risk, and it's been ignored for too long. Then there's the burning smell in the North Tower. Staff blamed it on K2 synthetic weed and inmates burning coffee grounds to cover the scent.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys, they still, do dope, they run the dope houses from inside the jails, a lot of kingpins, so it is an important item inside the jail.
Whatever the reason, it meant people inside were inhaling toxic smoke regularly. Strangely enough, inspectors didn't suggest any immediate action, leaving inmates and staff to keep breathing in who knows what. Hygiene standards, not looking good either.
I mean, a lot of people in here keep it real nasty. They don't really clean as often. They don't care. I mean, this is the last stop of the jail for all the worst of the worst.
In the West Tower, laundry workers weren't swapping out clothes and linens for inmates in crisis care. Instead, floor officers had to step in, a clear sign that things aren't running the way they should. And let's not forget the South Tower's generators. Back in March and April 2021, they were supposed to go through regular testing. That never happened. If the power ever cuts out, there's no guarantee the backup will work. That's a disaster waiting to happen. The overcrowding issue is only getting worse. Ongoing renovations mean fewer available beds, and the county is even looking into temporary setups just to keep up. Add in AC system failures, and things start feeling less like a jail and more like survival mode. And then there's the legal system, another mess on its own. Inmates trying to defend themselves barely get access to the law library. Legal mail, which is supposed to be private, gets open without them even being present. Motions take forever to get processed. It's like the system is set up to keep them stuck. And aside from the woes of the Dallas County Jail, there's word on the street that Yella Beezy is too broke to bond himself out of jail. Initially, Beezy's bond was set at $2 million, a price tag that signaled just how serious the charges were. In court, Beezy's grandmother, Alma Jean Alexander, took the stand. In one powerful moment, she flipped the script on prosecutors, insisting that Beezy wasn't nearly as wealthy as they made him out to be.
And he has houses in other states, correct?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware of him paying and helping to support other individuals in the family and also extended family and friends?
I'm not into his business like that.
She also continued, stating that
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
Her unwavering testimony, combined with statements from other family members, forced the judge to reconsider. Ultimately, Judge Gracie Lewis ruled in Beezy's favor, cutting the bond to $750,000, but not without strict conditions. Beezy is banned from contacting victims or witnesses and was given a stern warning about taking the financial disclosure process seriously. Prosecutors sought to paint a damning picture of Beezy's financial capabilities, suggesting that his wealth and resources provided him with the means to flee the state or country if necessary. They highlighted his bulletproof Denali, a symbol of his wealth and status, and the nearly $870,000 in his checking and savings accounts in 2020, arguing that these assets painted a clear picture of a man capable of orchestrating and financing such a heinous crime. Now, capital murder isn't just another charge. It's one of the heaviest in the book, and Texas doesn't play when it comes to capital murder. If convicted, Beezy could be looking at a future far from the spotlight. Under Texas law, a capital murder conviction means only two things: life in prison without parole, or in some cases, the death penalty. The stakes couldn't be higher. The law applies in cases involving the killing of a police officer, firefighter, or child under 10, a murder-for-hire scheme, or a killing committed during another felony like kidnapping, robbery, or retaliation. In Beezy's case, prosecutors claim he financed a hit on fellow rapper Mo 3, making it a murder-for-hire situation, one of the key qualifiers for capital charges. Just so you know how dire the situation is for Beezy, let's take Lil Durk's murder-for-hire case as an example. Dirk Devontae Banks, better known as Lil Durk, was taken into custody in South Florida, with the U.S. Marshals confirming his arrest. This dramatic turn of events is tied to a federal criminal complaint filed in California, where Durk is accused of orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot. Now, let's rewind. This whole wild story traces back to a bitter feud with an individual named TB, but the plot thickens when you factor in the tragic murder of Durk's close friend, Davon Bennett, aka King Von, on November 6, 2020. Von, an integral part of Durk's OTF, Only the Family Collective, was gunned down by an associate of TB, sparking a deadly chain reaction. Word on the street is that Durk placed a bounty on TB's head, fueled by vengeance and a need to retaliate for Von's untimely death. Fast forward almost 2 years, and it's no surprise things escalated. On August 19, 2022, members of OTF, allegedly under Durk's orders, set the stage for a dangerous hit. Multiple OTF associates tracked TB to a gas station in Los Angeles, opening fire on his vehicle with at least 18 rounds. But the real tragedy, SR, TB's family member, was caught in the crossfire and fatally shot in broad daylight. To make matters worse, this occurred in a busy intersection, putting innocent lives at risk. It's as cold as it gets. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada didn't hold back, calling it a cold-blooded murder that showed zero regard for human life. Durk and 5 others now face serious charges: murder, murder for hire, and conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death. And if that's not enough to make your head spin, prosecutors claim the hitmen were paid with funds tied to Durk and the OTF camp. Allegedly, 5 individuals were flown from Chicago to Los Angeles the day before the shooting, ready to take out TB. And there's more. Durk allegedly made the chilling decision to have one of his associates book one-way flights for the hitmen without using any names linked to him. No names, no paper trail. But we all know where there's smoke, there's fire. In the aftermath, search warrants were executed on OTF-linked properties, pulling the curtains back on the deep, calculated nature of this whole operation. Durk's first court appearance was at the C. Clyde Atkins U.S. Courthouse in Miami, where his lawyer, Alec Ubieta, kept things tight-lipped, refusing to spill any further details. With arraignments looming in Los Angeles federal court, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, Durk faces life behind bars. This legal mess has cast a dark shadow over his career, a career that once soared with a Grammy win earlier this year for Best Melodic Rap Performance for his track All My Life with J. Cole. As of December 2024, during a detention hearing, unsealed court documents linked Lil Durk to a second murder-for-hire plot involving the January 2022 shooting of Stefan Mack in Chicago. Durk is set to go on trial in October 2025 and has been denied bail. It's a bit unnerving to know that Mo 3 was killed in 2020, and it took almost 5 years for prosecutors to link Yella Beezy to the murder case. Given how Beezy and Mo 3 publicly beefed each other for years, it also raises the question as to what made the prosecutors suddenly link Beezy to the case, or if Kewon snitched already. Let's take it back to a tragic day in November 2020 when rapper Mo 3, real name Melvin Noble, was gunned down on a Dallas highway. His death hit hard. Mo 3 wasn't just another artist, he was a rising star, loved by many. That morning, Mo 3 was driving on Interstate 35 when he noticed a vehicle tailing him. As the tension escalated, he attempted to flee, abandoning his car and sprinting down the busy highway. What followed was a scene that was too shocking to be reality, except this was all too real. The suspect pursued him, opening fire in front of shocked onlookers. Multiple gunshots rang rang out and Mo 3 collapsed, fatally wounded. The brazen nature of the attack, carried out in broad daylight on one of Dallas's busiest highways, left witnesses stunned and authorities scrambling for answers. Speculation swirled around the motive. Some suspected it was tied to Mo 3's ongoing street feuds, while others believed it was a targeted hit fueled by jealousy, rivalry, or unresolved conflicts from his past. The Dallas Police Department wasted no time in launching a full-scale investigation. Dallas police, determined to find Mo 3's killer, released images of the suspect wearing a ski mask shortly before the shooting took place. These images became a critical piece of the puzzle, helping authorities track down Kewon White, a 22-year-old with a criminal background. White was already out on bond for a felony gun charge and a misdemeanor charge of evading arrest at the time of Mo 3's murder. As the investigation progressed, authorities gathered evidence placing White near the scene of the crime before and during the attack. Video footage and witness testimonies connected White to the incident, and it became clear that he was the gunman. Mo 3 had been traveling on the interstate when he was chased down by White, who approached Mo 3's car before the rapper attempted to flee on foot. But White didn't let up, relentlessly pursuing him and firing multiple shots that eventually took Mo 3's life. The attack also left another man wounded, further emphasizing the indiscriminate nature of the violence. Following the shooting, Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall acknowledged the rise in violence in the city and sought the help of the FBI to address the growing issue. On December 9, 2020, Kewon White was taken into federal custody, facing charges of murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The evidence against him was solid, leading to his indictment. White's arrest was not the only major development in the case. Federal officers, along with Dallas police, apprehended him in Oak Cliff, where he tried to flee on a dirt bike before attempting to run on foot. When they finally caught him, they found a 9mm pistol in his pocket, adding another charge to his already heavy list. Although Kewon has been speaking up from prison and even granted an interview to clear that he was not the one who shot Mo 3 to death.
But wait a minute, but people think you the person that killed Mo 3, man. They think you did it.
It's a million ways to do it. I ain't got no tattoo on my knee. I'm not being told that I'm married with this.
The case took another twist when the U.S. Attorney's Office revealed that a known associate of White's, 27-year-old Devin Maurice Brown, was also facing federal charges for drug and firearms offenses. A search of Brown's home turned up a stolen assault-style rifle, synthetic cannabinoids, methamphetamine, and other illicit items. This connection between White and Brown added another layer to the investigation, though officials kept quiet about the details of their relationship. The motive behind Brown's involvement in the murder case was that Mo 3 was getting too close to a woman in his life, and when Mo 3 dropped a Facebook video with her, it lit the fuse. Brown's grudge grew by the day, and before things got ugly, he was hitting up a witness to find out where Mo 3 was. It wasn't just a passing thought, it was a mission. On the day it went down, Brown's determination to settle this beef was clear. Turns out that Brown and White were linked through a series of phone calls, including the day of the shooting. Even with the evidence stacking up, White denied having any connection to Brown, even claiming he forgot his phone number when questioned. And now, 5 years later, as cops pieced the case together, a dark story started unfolding. According to court documents, Yella Beezy allegedly called the shots, hiring a hitman, Kewon White, to take Mo 3 out. The exact motive is still unclear, but the details that have surfaced paint a cold, calculated crime. The aftermath of Mo 3's tragic death continues to unravel in unexpected ways, leaving everyone questioning the connection between the rapper's murder and a series of strange events. Just days after Mo 3 was gunned down in broad daylight on November 11, 2020, a major development has raised eyebrows in the investigation. Authorities have uncovered a shocking detail. Yella Beezy withdrew a staggering $40,000 from his personal bank account just 2 days after the shooting. On November 13, 2020, the timing of the large withdrawal caught the attention of investigators who are now scrutinizing the unusual move. Why the urgency to pull out such a large sum of money so soon after Mo 3's tragic death? What was Beezy planning to do with it? The mystery deepened when witnesses came forward, claiming they had seen Beezy acting unusually nervous in the days leading up to the bank withdrawal. Surveillance footage from the bank further raised questions, showing Beezy entering the premises, glancing around, and looking over his shoulder as if he were being watched. With the footage now in the hands of authorities, they are combing through every frame, hoping to uncover clues that might explain Beezy's motives. A key witness prepared to testify claims to have overheard a conversation where Beezy allegedly discussed payments for Mo3's murder. Prosecutors are building their case on the idea that Beezy had both the motive and the means to orchestrate such a brutal act. Not only does he have substantial financial resources, including a bulletproof Denali and a healthy bank account balance, but authorities suggest that these assets make him a potential flight risk. The courtroom is also being shown a shocking video capturing Kewon White, the alleged hitman, chasing Mo3 down on Interstate 35 and gunning him down with ruthless precision. 44 bullet casings littered the scene, underlining the horrific violence of the attack. If Beezy truly orchestrated the hit, why would he risk it knowing that he and Mo3 had a well-documented history of tension? The alleged motive remains unclear, but if prosecutors' claims hold weight, it would mean Beezy either thought he was untouchable or underestimated the trail he'd leave behind. The saga of Yella Beezy and Mo3's alleged beef is one tangled web of competition, rivalry, and an unfortunate tragedy that shook the Dallas music scene to its core. Both artists came up in the same city, but as their careers soared, so did the tension between them. What started as a shared dream of making it big in hip-hop eventually turned into a battle for dominance in the industry, both in terms of fans and respect. Their beef, or what some fans insist on calling a rivalry, can be traced to their beginnings in the Dallas rap scene. Both were rising stars, and as they gained more recognition, they found themselves vying for the same audience. The competition, though often in good spirit, spilled over into personal issues, with both Mo3 and Yella Beezy throwing subtle and not-so-subtle jabs through their music and social media. One Reddit user weighed in on the feud, claiming, "Yeah, I know Mo3's head started getting big, and he was talking a lot of shit on social media, just didn't know if that was 100% what got him killed." This sentiment echoes a widespread belief that Mo3's outspoken nature may have played a role in escalating the conflict. Though the true catalyst behind the deadly outcome remains debated, things took a much more violent turn in 2018 after the tragic death of Roy Lee Pate, Mo3's friend and a well-known comedian. Roy Lee had publicly dissed Yella Beezy, questioning his authenticity and his ties to Oak Cliff, which only deepened the divide between the two. The very next day after Roy Lee's death, Yella Beezy was shot at in a drive-by in Louisville, Texas, an attack that many speculated was in retaliation for Roy Lee's murder. This incident marked a turning point in the feud, escalating it to dangerous heights. Despite this, both artists publicly denied having any real issues with one another.
I ain't never had no tension with nobody.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
I ain't never been no tension with nobody.
But despite all the drama swirling around them, Mo3 himself repeatedly downplayed the notion of a full-blown feud. In a 2019 Vlad TV interview, Mo3 insisted there was nothing between him and Beezy, claiming the media had inflated the tension. However, the narrative of a beef was already out there, fueled by public moments like the alleged assault on Mo3's manager Brandon Rainwater in January 2020.
Let me say this first. Rainwater, my manager, it's not no street. Let me say it again. Rainwater, my manager, is not no street. He graduated high school and went to college, sir. Sir, you get what I'm saying?
According to reports, Rainwater was attacked by Beezy and his crew at a Dallas strip club, suffering a dislocated hip. The incident didn't just leave scars on Rainwater, it also added fuel to the fire of the alleged rivalry, especially when Beezy's crew allegedly bragged about the assault in a video. Yella Beezy, however, has been more reserved, almost cryptic, when discussing Mo3. In a 2024 interview with Can I Vent, when asked about Mo3's death, he asked, "What was the point?" This dismissive response only added to the perception of an unresolved, deep-rooted tension between the two. But in another interview, Beezy appeared to acknowledge Mo3's influence, stating, "It was a big hit, that was a big impact." This acknowledgement, albeit brief, hinted at a level of respect, contradicting earlier remarks that fueled the animosity rumors. Their relationship's complexity deepened with the backdrop of their own individual struggles. In 2018, Beezy was shot 3 times while driving, a shocking moment that rattled the music community. Mo3's response to this incident was surprisingly nonchalant, advising, "You gotta stay out of the way. You get hit up every day." Despite the public perception of rivalry, both Mo3 and Yella Beezy made efforts to downplay the so-called beef. Mo3 insisted in interviews that he had no rap beef with anyone, explaining, "My job is to report like the news," positioning himself as a storyteller, not someone seeking drama. Yella Beezy, too, downplayed their altercations, saying any issues were just messing around and that they would never be on the same side, even if they buried the hatchet. The full truth behind their relationship remains shrouded in mystery. But one thing is clear, the death of Mo 3 left an undeniable mark on both the Dallas rap scene and the culture at large. Whether their rivalry was fueled by genuine animosity or competitive energy, the story serves as a cautionary tale about how easy it is for competition to spiral into something much darker in the world of music. Hiring someone like Kewon White, who has his criminal history, seems like a reckless move. The fact that there's a witness supposedly willing to testify about the financial transaction only deepens the intrigue. Beezy has had several past run-ins with the law, which puts him in a tougher place. In 2018, he survived a shooting while driving on State Highway 121 in Louisville. A few years later, in February 2021, he was arrested in Dallas County for unlawful firearm possession. Later that same year, he faced additional charges in Collin County for sexual assault and child endangerment. However, Collin County court records indicate that the case was closed without Beezy being convicted. Similarly, Dallas County court records show that the firearm possession charge was later dismissed. In July 2023, Beezy was also named in a lawsuit filed in Harris County, alleging that Chris Brown and members of his entourage assaulted 4 men after a concert at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. A lawyer representing Beezy told the news at the time that Beezy had no contact with the plaintiffs. It's wild to think that someone with Yella Beezy's status and resources would put himself in such a vulnerable position, especially when he had so much to lose.